Hello, welcome back to another video. It's been a little bit. Oh, I'm getting ditched by my cat. He didn't even want to hear me talk. It's been a bit since I've recorded one of these, due to a couple of different reasons, but I'm going to be getting back into it now more so. I am in school now at the moment, taking a couple courses, but that's actually more of an inspiration for me to keep doing this than what I was doing before, where I was just kind of falling out of routine. Don't actually think I've even ever recorded one of these during the evening. So as you can see, it's a little bit of a different cozy vibe that we're going to go with today. And we're going to still continue on reading the Grimoire Anthology from Destiny. Doing it in a weird order because I didn't do the first one yet, but we're going to do the third installment of the Grimoire Anthology today. Not all of it, obviously, but we're going to start with that today. And then once I finish this, I'm going to go back and do the first one to wrap things up. And yeah, we'll see where that takes us. But at least this stuff is relevant sort of to the content that we've had with Beyond Light. And will hopefully get me back on track with making these videos. So today, I just got this a couple weeks ago. It's been, I think I got it actually just before or just after Beyond Light, so sometime in November, but it's all starting to melt together at this point. The book is like in crisp, pristine condition because I haven't even opened it yet, so you'll be just experiencing it at the same time as I am. I thought I'd start today with a little bit of a recap of, like I said, things that have been going on in my personal life, and then dive into the introduction to start for the Grimoire Anthology. So if you're looking for just the actual content of the book, probably skip to the next video when I make it, because that'll be just diving straight into the first chapter. But today we're going to just go through a bit of a reintroduction to myself and also the content of Grimoire Anthology Volume 3, War Machines. So to start, as they start all their books here, we have a note from Bungie, and it says, Destiny universe created by Bungie. To our community, you become the main characters in the stories we tell. You've filled our worlds with your light and your friendship. Thank you for your passion for our games and for each other. Most of all, thank you for playing. And we have a foreword here. Sorry, I just want to move something out of the way so I don't have to look back over on that screen. We have the foreword. Now, more than ever, we should acknowledge a pair of invaluable truths. They may, in turn, seem like the easy way out, but really, they are the big picture, the widescreen, nuanced foundation upon which worlds are built. They are also one and the same, and yet so very different, as the first is a promise and the other is more of a warning. Of course, you may have heard this one before, but it bears repeating. The story continues. Honestly, it's such a basic truth, as universal as any, that its power may be lost on those who dwell too directly on its simplicity. But in relation to the volume you are holding, it is as relevant and meaningful as any passage contained within. Because, full disclosure, those 3 words are the beating heart of Destiny's Grimoire. In them you will find the countless edges and winding pathways where legends are born. The story of Destiny is, first and foremost, your story. The story of your guardian and your fight for not only victory, but understanding. That story, your story, however, does not start and stop with your many adventures. Narratives such as yours may have their sweeping character arcs and intricate world building, stretching from humble beginnings to grand, dramatic conclusions. But at their core, beginnings and endings are simply cages, purpose-built constraints for the moments and lessons and focused distractions we craft as storytellers. They are necessary constructs used with specific intent to guide the observer on a set journey, in Destiny's case, your journey. Guardian is risen on the outskirts of an old cosmodrome. Guardian discovers worlds as yet undiscovered and a fragile people beneath a fragile orb on the brink of annihilation. Guardian fights for survival and learns to become a warrior, a hero. Guardian faces impossibilities beyond time. Guardian confronts gods and monsters, sins of the past and sins yet manifest. Guardian wages war against an unbeatable alien war machine. Guardian scouts outlaw territories and avenged a beloved friend. Of course, there's just a random bot calling me right now. Guardian wages war against an unbeatable alien war machine. Guardian scours outlaw territories and avenges a beloved friend. Guardian's legend grows, victory after victory, sacrifice after sacrifice. Endless is your tale, tireless are your efforts, but no one's story is theirs alone. No one's triumph and sorrows exist in a vacuum. The story always continues. In every direction at all times, we are all cogs in an impossibly large, ever-moving, unstoppable machine called existence. We may be individuals and the roads we take may be our own, but along the way we merge and often collide with fellow travelers, set as they are on journeys all their own. Destiny, if nothing else, is a patchwork of such collisions. Narratives, big and small, that together weave a tapestry beyond the sum of its many varied threads. A gun forged by bone and shadow and built for pain becomes an instrument of heroic will in the right hands. An ancient line of alien gods see their king dethroned and their existence challenged by a beacon of light. A cold-blooded murderer is brought to justice, only to be given a second chance. Separately, each is their own, stories have great power, to move, to inform, to motivate and inspire, to chronicle the lives and deaths of heroes old, new, and still to come. But together they are so much more, because it is the stories beyond your story that make up your world and all the worlds beyond. John Goff, 2020. It's actually really nice. I like that. Apologize for the interruption there with a random unsolicited phone call from one of those numbers that just tries to scam you. So let's just go ahead and mute that. Because we're one take Jake here. We don't go back. This is just raw, uncut potential, if you will. Introduction. This is the first, and hopefully only, Destiny Grimoire Anthology put together in the midst of an ongoing global pandemic. Our story is many things, but in times like these, it's hard not to reflect on one element above the others. Destiny is about hope manifested by human achievement. This has been true since our very first trailer back in 2014, of humanity's first contact with the traveler on Mars. The Golden Age followed, humanity's highest point. However, in Destiny's opening moments, you entered a world fallen far from the Golden Age, ravaged by a collapse. Humanity was reduced to one last safe city, and the traveler, for all intents and purposes, was dead. Much of the lore you discovered about your past reflected the hardship of this fall. From the loss of the moon and the Great Disaster, all the way back to the Dark Age itself. But in the present, you encountered Commander Zavala, Cade 6, Ikora Rey, and Lord Shax, who, despite his loss, boldly led humanity in the face of a post-apocalypse. They were not defined by their struggle, but their leadership, even as they faced existential threat. Some things were too much for them to handle, such as time-struck vaults, hive gods, and the fathers of hive gods. But that's where you, our protagonist, answered the call. To this day, you are beacons of salvation to our characters and to each other. Every time you come together out in the world, in all the permutations of the Crucible, everywhere you and your guardians go, hope follows, even in the face of annihilation. The short stories from this volume follow similar themes. It beats an ominous title, War Machines, a reference to the technological entities in our universe and the collapse they failed to prevent. War minds like Rasputin are sentient artificial intelligence that control what remains of humanity's defense networks across the solar system. They are ancient and suffer no fools. Communication with them has come at a steep cost, even for bearers of the light. Exos like Cade 6 are metal women and men who appear more human than human. With some exceptions, the knowledge to build these mechanisms has been lost, but they remain they remain as extensions and expressions of the people of the Golden Age, metaphors for human achievement and destiny. They also, perhaps, represent the idea that once was done can be done again. In these pages, you'll find the Destiny writers have used these concepts to explore themes of hubris, existential despair, and nihilism in the backdrop of technological fantasy. But in the margins, in the subtext, there is always hope. Jonathan Toe, 2020. And that leads us to the beginning of the book. War Machines. I know it's backwards for you there, but do you even ponder the before, or that number etched into your flesh? Do you see yourself in your dreams? Lord Tymir. Part 1 is called Encrypted, and I'll leave that for the next one as I dive into chapter 1 and beyond here. Yeah, there's like a little bit of a foreword for part 1, and then chapter 1. So I'll aim to do chapter 1 all in one shot in the next video. It might go a little bit long, but that's okay. I like to get the practice of trying to read these all through in one shot. Like I said, I haven't pre-read that foreword. I would have just cut out the time where I got called in the midst of it if I was doing these in some sort of pre-recorded fashion to get the best outcome. But as I said in some previous ones, what you see is what you get. So I'm trying to improve at broadcasting and public speaking in general. So just got to put the pressure on myself to do it right the first time, right? At any rate, I thank you for watching if you have thus far. A little bit of a shorter one today with this video because the next ones will probably go long depending on how these chapters go. We had a really long one in the last grimoire. When I tried to do it all in one shot, it was like 45 minutes or longer. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you for watching, and tune in next time. If you like this video, do so down below. Subscribe if you want to come back and see more. Thanks again.